For the past year, we've made it our mission here at THV 11 to save a generation, educating you about the opioid epidemic and working to end the stigma of addiction. We vowed to continue the conversation and bring to light all the efforts to create change. Tonight, we begin a 5-part series 6 months in the making. We follow 4 men who are battling drug addiction behind bars and one program that's changing their lives. This is Out for Life.
We have about 20,000 Arkansans imprisoned right now. And interestingly, there will be 10,000 released over the course of the coming year, and probably around 11,000 arrested and put back in prison. The cycle is just, it's unsustainable, and it's costing us a fortune.
It's so easy to go pick up prescription pills and just let it all fade away. But in the long run, this is what it ends up being, the razor wire on top of the fence.
Everybody's watching every little move you make. It's not something you want to do, I promise you that.
In Arkansas, the recidivism rate is hovering right now around 56%. So what that means is once you're incarcerated, you're more likely to go back to prison than you are to stay free. While there are many of those inmates who are in prison, I'm glad they're in prison, there are a whole lot more who are there as a result of the war on drugs and the issues of substance use in America.
Life at ACC, I mean, it's not peaches and cream, I promise you that. My name is Josh Walker. I'm 36 years old. I'm from Stuttgart, Arkansas. I'm a father of 2 beautiful little girls. I'm a farmer. My family owns a farm. My whole life I've been working, and came back from college, and then I guess when I got hurt and I got on the pill. When I realized that I was addicted was one morning I woke up, and as soon as my feet hit the floor, I snuck in the bathroom at my house and crushed two Roxy 30s down on the back of the toilet. So with my kids and my wife asleep in the next room, just to get the day started. Next thing I know, I'm sneaking out at night after I put my girls to bed and drive all the way to Little Rock and Stuttgart, which is an hour drive, and then to get pills, and then drive back fast as I can in the middle of the night, know I gotta go to work next morning, and try to sneak in bed with my wife without her knowing that I left at all.
1408, Sergeant McConnell.
We are coming to the barber shop. I feel like this is a big part of my journey here. Before I was incarcerated, I had grown my hair for 7 years. So I had hair that was about down to here. We have to get one when we come in and get one when we leave. So this is where the magic happens, I guess.
What you just saw was a glimpse into life behind bars for those trapped by the strongholds of addiction. In just 60 seconds, a young man who had his life together until heroin changed everything. Out for Life continues after this. It's easy to ignore the problem of addiction when it's not directly affecting you, but the reality is it affects us all. More and more drug users are ending up dead or behind bars, creating a cycle that affects our entire community. So how do we fix it? Out for Life continues.
Before I was incarcerated, I had grown my hair for 7 years. So I had hair that was about down to here. We have to get one when we come in and get one when we leave. So this is where the magic happens, I guess. My name is Brooke Middleton. I'm 29 and I'm from Conway, Arkansas. I had kind of the normal childhood. I played in the orchestra, so I was like a band geek, you know. I was part of the French club. As I got older though, I started doing the college partying, and then I started working for restaurants and bars, and the drinking became a little bit heavier. I remember one night I was drinking and I went to a friend's house to smoke a little bit of meth, and I saw him shooting up prescription pain meds. And the first time that I tried it, I knew, or I thought to myself, this is probably what's gonna kill me. That was my first thought, but I couldn't stop.
Right now we have, I think, thousands of nonviolent offenders who have offended, who deserve to be penalized, but we're doing it in a way that doesn't help them and costs us a lot of money. The question is, well, what could we do different? How could we approach all of that differently? The Exodus Project is a program that's designed to work with inmates before they're released from prison. And the goal is to help them become equipped to do the things they need to do to become restored to their families.
What can we do to encourage you to believe that you can succeed? To believe that you have value? To believe that, yeah, you got a felony record. That doesn't define you.
The classes that we do are all designed to focus on changing mindset. Now they're topically on different things. And so we have classes on entrepreneurship. We have classes designed on mobilizing your personal resources and how to make a plan and how to execute the plan. We have classes on manhood and parenting.
Something that you do that makes you happy, that you know, like he said, when did he feel like he was a success? When he opened the door, you know, when he opened his door.
He saw how Clifton picked all that up just by being with him in that truck and at the ice house and listening to him.
And some people, everybody's looking for us to fail. So if we fail again, I mean, it's going to be hard to come back from. You know, I mean, I know you got to keep trying. And like I said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, but it's going to be hard to even take a shot.
There are a lot of problems that we face as a society that are bigger than we are. This is one of them. This is a problem where we're going to be better if we work together.
At the end of the program, where do I want to see myself? I want to see myself with a strong relationship with God. I want my thinking, my criminal thinking, I want to be able to control it. I want to be able to control my addiction. I have a chance, you know, I mean, it's a big deal.
This story isn't over. For the next 4 nights at 10, we'll document the lives of 4 men, 2 of whom you'll meet tomorrow night, and a closer look at the program that's working to keep them out for life. It's been 1 year since we made a vow to you to bring to light the depths of the opioid epidemic and work to save a generation. Tonight, we continue the conversation, part 2 in a series 6 months in the making. Last night, we introduced you to 2 young men battling their addiction behind bars and a glimpse inside the program working to change their lives. Tonight, you'll hear from 2 more young men who started out on different paths and ended up in the same prison. This is Out for Life.
Okay.
In my mind, I'm going to stay clean.
Tell me this, guys. How many of you genuinely want to stay clean when you get out? because you're going to be down there, down a dirt road, I imagine.
No.
Down a paved road. I'm good. Down a gravel road. But you're going to be where there's not a lot of support. That's what I'm saying. Be hard for us to scoop you up if anything went wrong. My name is Kathy McConnell, and I'm an instructor at the Exodus Project. I teach young men and women about recovery and reentry. All of my friends, when I first started doing this, thought I was absolutely crazy to put myself in this danger. I never knew what they were talking about. I think that any one of these guys here would do anything I ask them to do, or I always say I have the best bodyguards in the world. I think they would tell you that I was straightforward, that I don't put up with anything in class, that I mean business, that I have their best interest at heart, and that I'm a good cook. My son is 32, and he's been using since he was about 14. And I spent many years in a very dark place. I spent the first few years in total denial. And then I spent many years fixing him. I had to get right with myself and understand that I have no control over what that young man does. And this is my way of healing and giving back. It's my 12-step work. And by doing this for 3 years, it has healed the hole that I had in me.
I'm really not here to make friends. I mean, along the way, I do have some buddies in here that I'm real cool with, but I'm really just focused on being a better person so I don't have to come back to a place like this. I'm Jeremy Hall, I'm 28 years old. I grew up like in a drug-infested neighborhood. My mom was a crack cocaine addict, my dad was a crack cocaine addict. I started to sell because in my mind, I always told myself I never wanted to be addicted to drugs, so I kind of fell on the other side of the map with selling drugs. My lowest point really was when my twin died. He was in a wreck. He ran into the back of a 18-wheeler on opiates. I kind of felt like it's a void that I'd be trying to fill with. I started selling more drugs when my twin got killed because it did something to me. I just want to live like a normal individual because I'm tired of living this lifestyle, tired of coming back, coming to jail, tired of, telling my kids I love them over the phone. I need to be able to do that in person.
That's wonderful, bro.
You're not supposed to like this place, and they're doing a really good job of making it to where I don't like it. Hi, my name's Adam Nelson. I'm 33 years old, from Fort Smith, Arkansas. I like to joke around, real playful, sometimes too much, but I like to shine a little bit, you know.
If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
You know,
Come on, man. I didn't come from a broken home. I didn't use drugs because something happened to me or I was treated bad as a kid. I had a good life. It started out with oxycodone, then went to heroin and other stuff, and then using drugs in between it, as a crutch for that drug when, you couldn't find it. Eventually started to sell drugs to pay for my drug habit. The The first time I ever did heroin, I did it intravenously, and it took me to cloud 9, and then I woke up and I was in the ambulance, and they were screaming at me, and I'd feel them hit my chest again. I woke up, and she's screaming at me, and she's go, "What'd you take? What'd you take?" And I said, "Heroin." And I went back out, woke up again, and I was in the hospital. You know, I called my mom from county jail because it just come over me real strong to apologize to her, you know. And of course, she instantly forgave me, and it touched her that, you know, I thought about just some of the wrong stuff that I had done to her. So we were talking about people, places, and things, and I could just see a little vision of her pop up in front of me and go, "See, I told you." It was me understanding, you know. It was like her popping up in my head. It was really me understanding that what she was talking about.
I looked at these young men. I see my son. My son's not a bad guy. I tell him I don't want to pick up the paper and read their name. I don't want to do it. Because the reality is that in my heart, I'm afraid this is what will happen to my son.
I know one thing for sure is that if I don't change now, you know, there's time is running out. I might not have that much time to change anymore.
As you can see, this program depends on volunteers, people who come from all walks of life, some who know this battle firsthand. Tomorrow, meet Catfish Jimmy and hear how he's leaving his mark on their lives. Out for Life continues tomorrow at 10. Every addict's story is different. As you've seen over the past 2 nights, they come from all walks of life, but the end result is almost always the same: death, jail, or recovery. Tonight, part 3 of our 5-part series, a young man who knows heartbreak and addiction firsthand, determined to make sure these stories end in recovery. This is Out for Life.
This is basically our playground. This is the most freedom we get during our day. A lot of us will get out here on the volleyball court and play volleyball. I know a bunch of felons playing volleyball doesn't sound like the truth, but
you can tell up in the wire there's a few volleyballs.
Yup, we've gone through a couple of volleyballs. Yeah, this is it. This is the closest taste of freedom that we get while we're here. And we only get an hour a day.
We're not the ACC, we're not the state of Arkansas, we're not their guards, and we believe in their potential. And we believe in it because we believe in our own. In the first 2 or 3 weeks, they don't really buy all that. They're just kind of wondering. But after about the 4th week, it starts to sink into them that we're serious. And we've got lots of graduates coming in and out who are successful. And that's enormously encouraging.
My uncle that was successful called me Catfish, and my grandpa that was successful went by Jimmy. So when I went to name the shop, I wanted to name it after successful people in my life, and I named it Catfish Jimmy. I was raised in drugs. I started using when I was 13, started selling when I was young. Pretty much lived my whole life revolved around drugs and addiction. Benzos and Valiums and Xanax and Klonopins and any drug I could get my hand on, I would do it. I didn't want to be a tattoo artist if that's not what God wanted me to be. And God said, man, you're the perfect tool for me. You can go places where a lot of people can't. You can reach people that a lot of people can't reach. And I was like, okay, you put it on my heart. And I was like, well, I'm gonna use my tattoo shop for my testimony and my ministry as well. It says, we admit that by ourselves we are powerless over chemical substances and that our life has become unmanageable. That's on page 9. I teach the Conquering Chemical Codependency class, and it's a crash course, 12-week program on the 12-step program. But it's faith-based. I don't speak above them. I don't talk like I'm better than them. I'm one of them. I'm going through the steps with them. I'm doing the program with them. And we share the same past. We share the same stories. Whether you was doing good for a while on parole and something came back and bit you in the butt, whether you failed a drug test once for something, or whether you got popped with something. Drugs were involved somehow in destroying your life and separating you from the ones you love. So you have a problem. Every one of your family members and friends that are sober aren't going to want nothing to do with you. But that's where God's pretty awesome, because he restores those relationships. A lot of times when you're at the bottom of the barrel, you think nobody cares. And that place really shows them there's a lot of people out here in a lot of different places that care and want to see them do better in life and become a part of the community.
Because if I'm not hanging out with the same people that think like that, I'm not going to be thinking like that, especially if I am focusing on, like I said earlier, changing that stinking thinking. And then, you're going to think, oh, well, I've been locked up, and I know what addiction can do now, so maybe if I just do it this once, I'm going to be all right. Like, I can have me a Busch Light and smoke a joint, you know what I'm saying? But that ain't going to work, bro.
Over the weeks, I've seen them change. I've seen the look in their eyes change. I've seen their actions change. I've seen them become more involved in the classwork and in talking in the group discussions. And I've seen guys that don't talk on the unit, don't talk during class. The first few weeks, they completely open up, and they're the ones that don't stop talking. Like, once they open up, they break down those walls and those barriers and start working those steps. They change, and you can see the light just ignite in them.
Cool dude. He's been through the ringer, and the fact that he's been through it all and he comes and gives his testimony, then, and like he said, if he can make it back, anybody can make it back. He did a lot of hard time. He's one of the guys that kind of give me the inspiration he's giving back. He's not getting anything out of it except for what he gets in his heart for himself. And man, I dig it. I dig what he's doing.
Well, they passed around some pictures yesterday in a class we had of some people that were on some kind of crocodile, alligator, some kind of drug, and they just looked terrible. I mean, and I was thinking, when I seen that picture of that girl,
bro, right here.
Just look at that picture.
Let me see that.
Looks a little rough there.
Night and day, bro. You were sunk up when you came in here. You hear me?
That is terrible.
Yeah. I just want to let you know you don't look like that anymore. That makes me feel better.
Hey, listen, you turn the camera off now.
That would have been up there with catfishes. You don't have to be a low life your whole life. You don't have to be a low life your whole life.
I want to make the world better. I want to help people. I want to share love. I want to spread life amongst the world. Being here and getting to know myself and learning to love myself has allowed me to see other people who are where I used to be and who haven't learned how to do that, and that's my wish, is for everyone to learn to love themselves like God's shown me to love myself. I really think that's the whole issue with addiction, is not understanding that.
Addiction doesn't just affect the person using. The toll on their families can be devastating. Tomorrow, hear from the families of these young men and their fears of what could happen when they get out into the real world. Out for Life continues Wednesday night at 10.